Hello, welcome back to the Taverners podcast. This is episode 6. I'm joined today with Harry,
Hello.
Virgil,
Yeah, what's good?
and Sufyan.
My first podcast.
Oh yeah, this is your
Welcome,
first.
bro.
Oh, exciting times.
A new Taverner enters the ring. On
The
a very
ring.
special episode, no less. A very special episode.
Yeah, we've got a good treat for you guys today. So obviously for the last 3 weeks we've been saying that we're gonna make you guys champions, or not you guys, but we're gonna make champions, and you guys are gonna enjoy that. Be some good entertainment, but. We've been delaying it and delaying it. We always keep forgetting. But this week we have champions for you guys. We have
It
them.
might have been last minute, but we've got 4 champs hot off the press, ready to be presented.
I'm curious if you guys
Cue
want to
the
talk about.
applause.
I'm curious if you guys want to talk about your weeks briefly before we can move on to champions.
Oh, a little bit.
There's a bit to say.
How was
I'll
your
run
week
through it
then,
quickly.
Harry?
I moved into my new house. And my room pretty shit when I moved in, but I filled it with LED lights and I made it a reasonably nice place to live. And I discovered that my landlord is an asshole and he doesn't want to provide us with bins.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
crazy.
That's
The
fucked
landlord
up.
I phoned him up. He was like, "Hey, there are no bins in this house. Why have you not given us any bins? Like, so we can throw shit away." And he was like, "No, it's not our responsibility to give you bins. So we have no bins.
Just by bin.
Or Wi-Fi. So I have no Wi-Fi. So I'm recording this entire podcast episode, connecting my PC to my phone, which is connected to mobile data.
Surely there will be
So
no
player.
connection issues.
Yeah, there might be a
There
connection.
are
course
any
not, of
connection
course not.
issues. There are any connection issues. Blame it on my damn landlord. If you do see this, my landlord, hello, I love your services. Thank you so much for renting us this lovely place. Also, tune out of the podcast now.
It must feel good to, be back drinking at spoons though.
Oh,
I
it's
already,
so good to be
yeah,
back.
I already
We've been there
entered
like
the
3
Harry's
times, I
Whisper.
swear.
I've been
I
there
already
3 times.
entered.
I've been here less than a week and I've been there 3 times already.
Wait, Virgil, you've been there as well?
Yeah, it was.
I was also there once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have
but
come last
hopefully-
night, but I was I don't know. I feel like I've spent so much money recently.
Oh yeah,
Fine.
I'm fucking piss broke now because
Within,
I also
yeah.
bought another airsoft gun,
Nice.
which was a mistake.
And then
I mean,
lost
it's
the
really
mag.
cool.
The
Yeah, I
spare
also
mag that he
then
bought.
lost my spare mag for said airsoft gun.
Goodbye, money.
So I am not only have I now moved into Cardiff and I'm now living in a place with no bins and no Wi-Fi, but I also need to get a fucking job ASAP because otherwise I am going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots has happened in my life, unlike usual when I normally just turn up and say I've done nothing except watch esports.
What about you, Virgil?
Well, I can sum up my week pretty quickly. I just been working more at the warehouse. And then I went and entered at Harry's place and had a fucking dream sequence drunken walk home.
Oh my
Which is
god.
Oh,
pretty-
you were so
It's
drunk
pretty
that night.
prog as well. Yeah, because I
Played
decided
Ring
for
of
some
Fire
fucking
at my
reason
new
to
house.
play with just neat spirits. I don't know.
And not
No
even
logic behind that decision.
not even shots of neat spirits, whole cups of neat spirits.
I was just
Yeah,
gaming. And I
to
gamed
anyone
till
who's
I
ever
dropped.
played Ring of Fire, that's not how you're meant to play that game. That's
I
like an insane
gamed
way of doing
until
it.
I dropped.
You gamed until you threw up in my damn toilet.
Oh, but that's like normal.
That is him
guess.
dropping.
True.
That was a good night though. That was really fun.
That was a good night.
Yeah. Alex is on holiday now though, so we'll have to wait until he comes back to do it again.
I was not invited to this.
You were invited.
You
Well, you
were.
are
left.
because you're Taverner.
Yeah, you literally left.
You left already. We went there after spoons and you just left.
Logic, man.
Go Sufyan.
Oh,
Blame
it was
on
that
us.
night.
Yeah.
Ah.
Like
You are-
approach
you-
and shit.
You're
You
like,
were
I've gotta
invited,
go.
but you chose not
I
to
see,
come.
I see, I
Alright,
see.
Seth, you want to say anything about your week?
I'd already been out all day, so I was fucking tired. Also, that was the day I got ghosted, so you know.
Oh,
Well,
bro.
No, but
wasn't
you
a
were-
great day.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
real.
my week. So after I got ghosted, my room got painted, and now I have a fucking green wall, which actually looks nice with my PC here now. Thank fuck. Room painted. Before then,
Came to
airsoft. Airsoft was pretty cool.
Assault was fun.
Got shot a few times. Had to repair James's Glock last night. Not repair, just clean and lube it. It was dry as a fucking bone. James L.
for.
James
But,
is one of our friends we go airsofting with.
Yeah, James is a man who exists.
Real. He's older than all of us, I think.
I think so.
Yeah,
Oh,
but he's
yeah,
also
yeah.
he's also shorter than all of us. So
Li-
like,
Lily
that's
is
not-
also older than all of us.
That's a
which
bad
I did not
choice.
know. Lily's 20, and I believe James is James 20.
Yes.
Oh, I see. So
And
yeah,
then,
it's been
My
Yeah,
week's
pretty
been
good
pretty.
week.
My week's been pretty good. Last night was my mum's birthday. She's 53 now.
nice.
We had we had friends over, family the day before, friends yesterday, and God, the amount of questions I had to ask about going to Edinburgh University. It's like the default question for someone who doesn't really know you but wants to like converse with you. It's like, oh, I've heard you're going to
hey
university.
kiddo, how's school?
Yeah, so it was good though. I had conversations with some people that were really interesting. Like my mum's got a friend called Joe, and she's a professor at Edinburgh University, and she's travelled all over the world lecturing, and she's even been to North Korea to lecture. So I spent a lot of the night talking to her, and ended up we all were sitting around the campfire, drinking, talking. It was pretty fun. My dad made these really good burgers as well. He literally, the morning of this, like yesterday, he comes into my room like, emergency, emergency, emergency. I'm like fast asleep. I'm like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, try this burger. I try it. I'm like, that's good. And he's like, okay, all right, see you.
That's pretty
That was the
base. I like
emergency
that.
that woke you up.
That
Yeah,
is an emergency.
it was a pretty good burger, but I am on my 1 meal a day thing, and I didn't realize when I was half asleep I shouldn't have eaten that burger.
Ah, you're fucked now.
I know, I'm fine.
Finn's
GG.
gonna gain 30 centimeters in the waist. Rip.
Yeah, and then airsoft was pretty fun. I remember the gulag was the funnest part for me because I stomped in the gulag. The 1v1s, I won all my 1v1s.
I couldn't see because I didn't bring my spray for my goggles. But in the gulag,
I was totally blind.
I
It was a
saw
night
I
game,
saw
so
one
it was
person move out the
dark.
corner of my eye, took one shot, and the guy's like, "Oh fuck, good shot." I was like, "Oh, okay," and then I died.
I just
Aw.
fucking popped off. I'm bad at FPSs on computer, but in real life I pop off. And also, I forgot to say, I was a dude at my mum's party yesterday who is in the military, and he's got a collection of like old World War II weapons and AKs, like all real. They've been disarmed, so like they actually can't be used anymore. But he's just got a collection of these really old, like authentic machine guns, and like he was nerding over my airsoft guns that I was showing him yesterday, and he was like really enthusiastic over them, and I was trying to like get or get him into airsoft, you know, like tempting him, and I've
What
been
are
doing
you?
the same for
Are
my
you the
father as
fucking
well.
devil?
I just want to, like,
I don't
I
know,
think it'd be
parties
so
tempting people.
no, I think it'd be so sick. It wasn't so much about that guy, but I think it would be so sick if like, because I knew if I got that guy into airsoft, my dad would get into airsoft, and I'd love to play airsoft with my dad. I think that'd be so fun.
Easy way to do that, just shoot him in the back and then he'll start a vendetta against you.
Later.
Or he'll just steal my gun in the middle of the night, wake me up, emergency, emergency, just shoot me point blank.
Real.
Yeah.
Alright, I think it's time to get down to the topic of this podcast.
Who wants to
The
go
characters.
first?
Well, first we gotta play bingo. We gotta play 200 years bingo.
Oh,
We
the
gotta
bingo.
explain.
Oh yeah, you guys will see on the edit now. You'll see the bingo chart. And this chart is literally just. Someone else explain it. Someone else explain it.
So for the context of 200 years, this is a phrase used by the League of Legends community to describe broken and unfair things, and it results from a Twitter interaction between a player and one of the game developers, where they were debating what would be a good change for a certain character. And at the end of the debate, after hearing the player's points, the Riot employee replied with, "Those are some interesting takes, but I think we'd rather listen to our 200 years of collective game design experience." And so from then on, every time Riot would make a bad decision or an unfair mechanic, people would just quote, "Ah, yes, the famous Riot 200 years of game design experience." And so the phrase has kind of just become a normal way of describing anything that's broken, unfair, or bullshit. And so on our bingo card, we have a load of things that are broken, unfair, or bullshit, or at least a feature of many new champs that are released. So with all of our champs that we designed, we're gonna play bingo and see how many of these features they have.
Oh, they're gonna have so many. There's gonna be
That's
so many
that's crazy.
bingos. There's gonna be so many bingos. Bing no, more like
All right, so I guess you just
no
assign
fun.
numbers to each square and then random Janet.
Yeah. Okay, who wants to go first with it? Oh wait, are we gonna tick off the bingo boxes while we go through the champions, or are we gonna?
No, just do it now before we actually get into them. Like, just roll a random number, read out the bingo tile, and then first to get bingo
I don't think
wins
I
or loses.
can get bingo. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I think
I
we're
see what
just
you
gonna.
mean.
I think we should just see how many of them we get between all 4 of our champions.
All right,
If we
just
fill
just
the
go
whole
just.
thing,
Yeah.
if we fill the whole bingo chart between the 4 of us, then we win. And Riot
Take
Games
it
has
off.
to-
Take it off while we talk. Take it off while we talk about our champions.
Yeah, and by
Oh, yeah,
tick it
okay.
off, I mean we mean you tick it off in editing, Finn.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is addressed to like future you now, so make sure you get that done, okay?
No, we'll talk about it. Don't put all the
Alright,
effort on
then.
me.
All right then.
Who wants to
So-
go first?
I believe we said you were going first because call order.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yes, that's true.
I can go first.
Oh no,
Right,
I have to
let's
come
hear it
after
then,
all
Finlay.
you.
So my
Finley's champion.
champion's name is Atos. It's a cool name. It's kind of like Greek, no, Latin for eagle. His backstory is that he's a Vestian mage monk from Phalor. And later on in his life, I haven't fully fleshed out his backstory. Later on in life, he summits Mount Tarragon, and becomes ascended. He becomes ascended with the aspect of the warrior, similar to Pantheon. And I would say his gameplay is a support tank, but when he becomes ascended, his champion becomes more of a high mobility bruiser. I'll go through his abilities and stuff now. What do you guys think about that backstory though, and the information so far?
Pretty
So
good.
all I
Okay.
can say is I assume this aspect of the warrior is like a thing you made up and not already canon, right?
Oh no, it's already canon.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
And no one has it. No one has the
Pantheon.
aspect.
Pantheon has.
Pantheon
aspect
has
of
the
the
aspect
war.
of war.
Oh, so yeah, okay. Aspect of the warrior then. It's new.
There you go.
Yeah, it's me.
New content. Holy
We're
shit, new
rewriting
content.
Raw. Riot, you can have that one for free. We're
Yeah,
not
you
even
can have that
gonna
one for free. It's a bit of a mouthful when I said like Athos is a Stein mage monk from Phalor.
Just say a warrior monk next. Or like a.
It's just
battle
some
name.
guy that
I don't
would
know.
have done the job.
He's
He's a
just
dude.
a dude.
Yeah, my character's a dude, by the
He's
way.
just a dude.
Well, I did write like a whole backstory for him. Told you guys before the podcast started. I did write a whole backstory for my character, but it felt too like, feel sorry for him. Like, oh, he lost his mentor, and like, he goes on this whole like,
is dead.
yeah. And I was like, nah, like he's hated by the fucking people in Phalor, and it seemed very basic. So I'll come back to the backstory. Maybe in the future when we do other champions, I'll revisit this one and I'll tell you his backstory again.
Good idea.
Okay, so we're going through his passive then. I haven't got names for any of my abilities.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. Ew. So we'll just call it passive 1.
Passive one.
Passive one, what a way to
Should we
start.
Passive
should we
one.
immediately take
Hold
that
on.
off from the bingo card, please? Multi-part passives.
Is
That's one checked off already.
That's one checked already. So if enemy champions do a set amount of damage to allies, this scales with level by the way, within a 1000 AoE around Athos, they take reduced damage. So by set amount of damage, I'd say like, I don't know, 2000, 1000. I'm not the right balancing team, but
But you should be.
that's the concept. So
That's the point.
if they don't focus me for a long enough time, then it impacts them negatively, okay?
Is that stored as like a resource bar on your like health bar or something?
I didn't really think too much. It was probably there should be an indicator of like how close or But it is literally just like once they've now done this, done a set amount of damage to your allies, it will stay on for the like whole duration of the team fight until like until they start focusing you, and it'll have like a countdown, and then it'll go back to like everyone's like this can do the same amount of damage.
Okay.
So it allows you to. That's why I said like it's a support tank. It's a way of them having to focus the tank instead of the AD carry or like the squishier people on your team. And if they just power through it, they'll get like debuffs, I guess. Okay, so then if all allied champions are within the range of passive 1 and are reduced to less than 30% max health, the passive morphs and becomes passive 2. Passive 2, Atos becomes imbued with the aspect of the warrior and unlocks a singular ascended ability. You choose which ability becomes ascended. For every champion in range of passive 1 that's below 30% HP when a champion is dead. Below 30% HP when a below 30% HP, there should be a full stop, sorry. So basically, you've got your QWER, and if you're in a team fight and all 4 of your teammates are below 30% HP, you get 4 ascended abilities that you can choose. Or
Okay, that makes sense.
say if one of your
And they
teammates
only
is
last for the team fight.
I
Yeah,
like that
yes.
as well, because it doesn't make his lane phase piss broken, because usually he'll only have 2 max.
Yeah, so like
Unless you're not including him.
Yeah, it doesn't include yourself.
So you'll only have 1 ascended, like, unless there's a
Yeah.
gank, and then he gets 2, and team fight he'll have all of them.
Yeah. So and that's you choose. So like if you've only got 1 ascended ability, you can choose your Q, W, E, or R, which one becomes ascended.
Yeah.
So
I actually really like that, because there's a lot of like one of the things I don't like in League recently is everything's so front loaded. You can just click all your buttons and everything happens auto. But this guy, he's like a tank, but he can't just like lay into like a backline randomly for no reason. Like he has to do his job and then he gets his shit.
yeah, it comes towards the end of a team fight when everyone's low, and he's like, okay, now like flip the switch. Okay, so the way that it then like your ascended abilities disappear is when a champion is dead, or say they have Omnivamp and they've healed more than their 30% HP, you lose an ascended ability depending on the most recent ability or passive that you've used. So say someone in my team left like my range, or they went to 35% HP, and then I used my Q that was ascended. When it came back off cooldown, it would no longer be ascended. So in a team fight, if all my team got back up above the 30% threshold, then it would I would start losing them depending if I use my Q. Then next time I use my W, it would disappear. Next time I use my E, it would disappear. Next time you know what I mean?
So once it's ascended and has 1 use.
Yeah. I know,
but you get the use back if they're still below 30%.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Or if they become back 30%. If they go below 30% again, you can choose an ability. It's probably got a cooldown for that, but I haven't really put much thought into that.
Yeah, it's an interesting premise.
Okay,
I
so
was going to say, this is actually a legitimately unique and interesting passive that has never been explored in Legends. Wow.
yeah, that's
Not
what I
as
was.
expected. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, all I can say is good luck to the guys coding it, but it sounds actually interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a hassle to code, just constantly tracking the like HPs of people and.
Yeah, I have a
League
similar
is a
thing.
spaghetti code
I
mess already.
mentioned it like before we started the podcast that one like my character's animations would be so cancer to animate that I actually just came up with a thematic workaround for it completely.
I could imagine it being like the execution thing. Like you'll see a bar above your teammate's health, and then when it gets there, it like glows or something, and you can just like quickly upgrade, like
Yeah.
Control Q or Control W, whichever one you wanna. Okay, so then we move on to his Q. This is where stuff becomes sussy.
Oh no.
So it's on
Is
an
it not
8-second
already sussy?
cooldown. And Atos throws out a projectile that hits the first target. All the percentages are changed. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not a right balanced team. So anything that's like percentage, you can be assured that they will get changed. So Atos throws a projectile that hits the first target. It does plus 25% AP your bonus health. And then has a recast when it hits a champion that has a 500 range skill shot. And if that skill shot, the skill shot fires from the champion that you've originally hit. And if it lands onto another champion, it does 1.5 times damage and slows. And then the Ascended kind of like changes this completely. So Atos fires a projectile that does percentage max your bonus health true damage. If it hits enemy champion, it gains a recast that gives you a dash that fires a cone of similar projectiles, kind of like Hex Tech Protobelt. And then for every projectile hit, it removes 1 second of cooldown, and it's max 5 seconds. Like max, it'll remove 5 seconds of cooldown. And these projectiles do percentage current health true damage. So yeah, that's the Q. Ascended.
Gentlemen, that is a 3-for-1, I believe. That is dashes, resets, and percent health damage.
And true.
That's cooldown
That is,
reduction though. That's cooldown
very
reduction, not a reset. Because its
Okay,
cooldown's
that's true,
8
that's true.
seconds, so it...
Right, we won't mark off resets. Won't mark off resets yet.
But what do you guys think of that ability?
Cool ability.
I
Yes.
think that's like a whole kit in one ability.
Isn't
a
that
lot
the
of
point of a
inspiration
200
from
years
action.
champion?
Yeah, I guess.
I guess it sounds
Every
a lot when I'm
200 years
talking
It
about...
sounds really fucking violent. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, how can I make a skill shot interesting? Or like, how can I make a projectile interesting? Especially with the Ascended. And I've been playing a lot of Akshan recently, so I was like, I want some mobility in here. So that's why I added the...
And a lot of action.
No, not Akshan. I've been playing a lot of Rakan recently. So that's why I added the mobility. Because I like mobility champs.
Alright.
I see.
And you can imagine, like, if it's Ascended in a team fight and you're hitting these projectiles, it comes off 5 seconds, you've got like 3 seconds left, and then you're dashing again, and you're like... Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Sophian, what is your take on this?
The percentages, I have no fucking clue. But the because I
Same,
just
bro,
don't play
same.
League like that. That's all.
Same, bro.
But like Virgil said, it's basically a full kit and one ability. It's a bit fucked.
Yeah. But
It's a
those...
bit-
Again,
The first
that's
Q...
the point of a 200 years champion.
The thing is,
They
that
That's
all
not-
have
that's
every
not-
old champion's kit
No, but
in
you
their
say-
in one ability.
you say it's a whole kit in one ability, but the unascended is just throws a projectile, and you get to recast another projectile. And like the way you get the ascended is what makes it tricky, because you're not gonna have that unless it's like very dire. Your ADC is about to die, and you're in like your support. Your ADC is about to die, and you get a chance to then like fire.
Question,
a
sir.
high damage
Question,
spew.
sir.
What?
Does the like act of like your team getting below the health threshold instantly take the ability off cooldown or not?
I would assume not, because that seems pretty broken.
Okay, good. That would have been where it crossed the line. I was like, what?
Yeah, I didn't really think of that, but now you say like I said, I think that'd be pretty broken. So it would just ascend it, but it would still be on cooldown, like as if you're leveling up an ability. Like when you level up an ability, it doesn't just immediately reset.
Not that bad then. There's more to this champion.
Yeah. So then W1, this, it's not W1. It's just like
Normal W.
normal W ascended. So the W's got a 15-second cooldown.
Okay.
Basically, the normal one gives you a 20% max health as grey health. So it doesn't just give someone 20% max health instantly, it gives them 20% max health as a grey health. To a chosen ally. And the cooldown on this gets a reset if the grey health fully charges without taking damage. So the person basically has to leave, or like just not have any damage done to them for it to reset. Is that, yeah?
Yeah,
So
okay, yeah.
it's like conditional healing basically, and overhealing, but you have to leave the fight to get it.
Yeah.
I feel like it really depends on the champ that's receiving that, like how mobile they are. But it could be either like fine ability in an ongoing fight, but like really sussy because it's like warmogs basically with the reset if you're outside of combat.
Yeah.
So you have to like if your enemy team playing the spot lane because it's or you have to be like perma poking this guy, otherwise he's just kind of like full health.
Yeah.
Is this champ a like mana champ?
Yes.
Okay, that makes it slightly less disgusting then. I would say like this is my opinion. It should be like Yumi. It should be percent mana spell, just because of how spammable this sounds with the reset.
It would definitely be a higher mana cost. But yeah, so the W Ascended is what makes this interesting. So it gives 20%.
Oh yeah, sorry, that was just the default one. Yeah, my bad.
This one gives 20% max health as Grey Health, but the ally who you give the Grey Health to also gains a shield equal to the amount of Grey Health given. And if the Grey Health fully charges, it does 200 in a range of 250 AoE damage around. It does like 30% AP bonus health damage in an AoE of 250 around the champion if their Grey Health fully charges without taking damage, and that's why the
cool. I
shield
like that,
like
actually.
compensates for.
So it basically
still have the
takes that passive ass fucking W that you described first of all, and it turns it into like you can throw your teammate in there, and if the shield tanks enough, then it does damage around them.
Yeah,
That's cool. I like that. I unironically like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
and then we move on to the E.
Oh boy.
This is a passive. So passive 3.
Passives on abilities X.
This
Oh, I
is
should have added that. Passives on abilities. That's the weirdest shit ever.
this is the this is like a vein on a tank. So
Okay,
passive.
well.
The passive is every third auto attack adds a fleeting stack of armor. It scales from 1 to 10 armor based on how much bonus health your champion has. And this is only for, like, I can't give that to other people, obviously. This is just for, like, the champion. So throughout a team fight, he'll gain armor the more auto attacks he does. So he has to be in the thick of things. He can't just, like, it's not like he'll build full crit and get loads of armor because it scales from 1 to 10 depending on how much bonus health he has. So if he has a load of bonus health, he'll have 10 armor. But if he's built no bonus health, he's gonna have like 1 armor every third auto.
I think the armor should also scale with level though.
Yeah,
10 is
maybe.
piss weak late game. 10 is actually so piss weak late game.
10 is piss weak so late game, but this guy's already building tank, so he's surviving long enough anyway to imagine he's just like he's autoing.
Yeah, maybe it's just like 30 like full late game.
Maybe, yeah.
And usually as well supports don't actually get like full level, so it's
I'll
not
email
that
this to
bad.
Riot after Riot's battle
Oh,
teams
yeah, of course, yeah.
afterwards, and they can balance it. And then his ascended version of this passive is every third auto attack adds a fleeting stack of armor. It scales from 1 to 20 armor based on how much bonus health he has. So it gives it an armor buff for every like third auto. But I can just imagine like it's a long team fight and he's just auto attacking. He's got his auto attacks through, and he's like pulled up like an additional like 100 armor, or like, and I specified as fleeting because I don't want him just to permanently have these stacks. Like they will, if he doesn't fight and if he doesn't get the autos in, it will like start reducing. So, yeah.
You can have like a rage meter under his health.
Yeah, kind of. And then every third auto attack also makes the target susceptible. If champion is susceptible, all other damaging abilities are buffed. So next to the like the percentages I gave to you, I said next to it like more bonus if susceptible.
Scales with like susceptible.
Yeah, bonus if susceptible. You know, so that's the E passive. What do you guys think of that?
I kind of like it.
Okay.
Again, these are all like turbo hard to integrate,
Nice,
but like
nice,
actually interesting.
Yeah. You hate seeing like a new champion spotlight and it's like, oh, it's just this champion reskinned. You know? So I was trying to think of like original.
Yeah,
Now I
think
know
it's
what. Now I know
very-
why it took you so long.
Yeah.
I think mine's original.
And
We'll see, bro. You're lost.
my R. Okay, so my R. The first one is It's a 60-second cooldown. It charges a knockup for 3 seconds. And it charges up to a range of like 700. So if you press it for like 1 second, it's gonna be like a really small range, and it rewards you for holding out your channel or like charging it for longer. And all the champions in the range, like enemy champions, get knocked up for like plus 50% AP, your bonus health. And then the R Ascended is the ult additionally fully stacks susceptible on all champions in knockup and gives a 10% max health shield to all allies in knockup. So it works well with W and the E passive.
Okay.
A lot
so
of the
it's like-
Nice.
And a lot of the Ascended abilities, they may seem like, what the hell, this guy's got so much damage out of nowhere. But I'm thinking of it as a sense of like, your team is pretty fucking low. Like, your team's all like 30% HP or less. And you're like, okay, what the hell, we've been stomped on. Time to like fight back. I've like. You just
Yeah,
suddenly have the potential from going from a tank to like actually like doing damage and, you know.
This guy sounds like really hard, and that you have to be like smart with your cooldowns as well to make it work.
Yeah, because a lot of them like synergize together. Apart from the Q's just like fucking get in there. Just it's kind of like a laning tool. You can't just have someone that only auto attacks. Like everyone has got some kind of projectile, you know. But the
Everyone
WE
has some kind of projectile, cries in Leona, man.
True, but imagine he didn't.
My projectile is my body, bro.
Yeah, but imagine the Q is like damage. The Q is his main damaging ability for himself. Otherwise, he's only gonna be auto attacking. Whereas WER and passive, they all just like stack or combine really well and make it like an interesting like tank because his gameplay is changing throughout fights, and his cooldowns depend on how his gameplay works, and how low his team is depends on how the team fight goes depends on how he plays. So it's like a very high skill like tank and like quite like that. That's what
Yeah,
I was
I like the idea so far. It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's the at the end now. I've got the
Bro spawned a balanced nightmare and dropped to the mic.
Fair play.
through
And we
200
didn't
years.
actually. I've only just realized this now, but I feel like we should maybe. So we ticked off dashes, we ticked off multi-part passive, we ticked off what else?
Recess.
Resets and percent health damage. Do we also want to tick off wins from behind? Because his entire mechanic sounds like if you're good enough at the champion, you just win team fights that you would otherwise be losing.
You don't just win them because
No, you don't just win them, but if you play
it's
the champion correctly, you win team fights that you'd
like
otherwise
you
lose.
have to be around people who are low health have to be around you, but you're the front line, so these guys have to be near you for you to then get ascended, and then if they suddenly get health, then you lose an ability. Like it's not too broken to the sense you're always gonna have these ascended abilities up in a team fight, or like
Yeah.
whenever your team's low, you're just gonna whip them all out, and you're gonna like fucking because it's very
Conversely,
situational.
though, I feel like it would be hard to close out the games against this guy, because in that final
True.
fist fight, you'd have to get through all this shit,
Yeah,
and then you take down his team. So I feel like maybe not wins from behind, but like you can tick it off. Like,
he
there's
gets
potential
strong.
for that to
He gets
happen.
stronger from behind, but I mean like his QWE and R, they're just empowered like versions of. They've got some niches to them, like they add additional things to them, but they're not like Chemtech Soul where you just like, oh, okay, we have to fight this team twice now from behind. Or, like, it's just, you know,
Okay.
it's you still have to be mechanical to win the fight, and it's
Yeah,
very
man.
situational.
You still have to be mechanical to win from behind. Got it.
Yeah, to win from
Tick the
behind.
fucking box.
We'll take that one off.
We'll
We'll take that one off.
We'll take it.
All right, what else? Are we going to Harry's now, or are we gonna keep ticking?
I think that's all the ones that we can take
Wait,
off.
wait! Is it a shirtless man?
Oh yeah, true. Does he wear a shirt?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, okay. That's kind of
Heartbreaking.
surprising, actually.
All right.
Well,
That's my
like-
200 years champ. Let's hear yours.
I'm so
Shall I-
fucking
shall I-
ready.
I'll tell you about the mightiest 200 years champ through over 200 years. Okay. So, my champion, I thought long and hard about my champion. And then I basically decided that one of the things that I dislike about Pro League of Legends at the moment is I think that the fact that the entire game is just which ADC wins is not that interesting to me. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to make a champion that works against this meta. And is
Wait. So you don't
Oops.
like it when the attack, damage, in emphasis carries?
well, I understand that it's the way the game is designed, but the point is, Finn, the point is, I don't like just how bot lane centric League of Legends is.
Okay.
I think it's fine. Like, it's okay. It's for it to be like reasonably
Yeah.
bot lane centric, but like, come on, there he is too much. So the point is, my 200 years champion is a top laner. Is a top lane juggernaut named Armia. And the basic lore for this champion. Again, I came up with this in like the 2 minutes before we started the podcast for the lore. Is that she was formerly one of Demacia's greatest frontline commanders and got dishonorably discharged from the army for doing something, being like, "Oh no, we have to be moral. We can't just go around senselessly murdering Noxan civilians." But apparently, that they fired her for that. But now she just
Fired.
kind of wanders the border.
How dare
She
you
just kind
want
of
Wanders
Yeah,
the
they
plains with a
legit
shit
told me so.
resume.
she just kind of wanders around like the border, Marcia and Noxus,
Fuck.
protecting the civilians from like the barbaric armies that are so far from the high society that they just kind of do whatever they like. It's a cool backstory,
Yeah,
kind
it's
of,
pretty
except it
cool.
also isn't very fleshed out or unique. But
So what
that's
I'm
not-
learning is your character is a bit of a snowflake and just really wanted to save innocent civilians.
yeah, let's go with that. Really wanting to save innocent civilians makes you a snowflake.
Yeah.
Write that one down.
Yeah, that one's pretty like soy boy.
Take that, Al Jazeera.
That's so true. That's so true.
That's pretty
okay.
beta. That's not very Giga Chad.
Very true. Not
Andrew Tate
sacrificing
knocks us
more
fucking
billion
wild.
lives. Embarrassing, really. But the
Okay,
law's not
okay.
really the focal point of the champion. Okay, so it's a mana juggernaut in the top lane. Okay,
Yes.
and before we get into the champion, I didn't actually come up with any base stats for this champion, but I do think it's important for the sake of the balance of the champion that I specify the attack speed isn't high natively. They have a very low native attack speed.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. So the pass, I actually do have ability names. The passive is Stalwart, whereby Armia cannot gain armor through level growth, like every other champion does with the the usual formula.
Yeah.
Right. However, successfully landing a basic ability on a minion, jungle monster, or champion gives Armia one permanent stack of resilience, and each stack of resilience provides her with one armor and one magic resist.
Wait, can you say this again? Like from the start.
Okay, so she cannot gain armor or magic resist through level growth.
Yeah.
However, successfully landing a basic ability on a minion, jungle monster, or champion gives Armia
So
one
all she has to do is auto attack a minion and she gets a stack.
basic ability, not attack.
Oh, basically
Has to be an ability, same as Veigar.
Yeah.
And successfully landing a basic ability on a minion, and for the record, it doesn't do it multiple per minion. So if you kill 3 minions, then it doesn't give you 3 stacks, it only gives you 1 stack. And
So it's
every
not
stack
per.
grants you
It's
one
not
armor and magic
per
resist.
ability. Sorry, it's not per minion. It's per.
It's per ability.
Unique spell
Okay.
hit.
Per ability. I don't know what you said, Virgil. Say it again.
A unique spell hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There's a couple more bits to this passive. They're just scaling things. At 100 stacks, she gains 10 additional ability haste and 10 additional summoner spell haste. At 200 stacks, she gains 300 max health and 100 max mana. Additionally, she gains 5 max health for every 1 bonus attack damage that she gains.
Mm.
That's the passive.
Beef.
As I'm sure you can tell, very short, very
Beef.
Yeah, I'm
not in
imagining
depth,
with
very
the fact that the items that they build already in the game like a full build tank will already have like bonus like what like 200 300 armor, but then you're already planning for them to have 200 plus stacks of armor. Oh, they're gonna be they're gonna we're gonna do like 0 damage to them, like literally 0 damage.
This is coming, by the way, from the guy who hates Fiora. Now we're gonna need her. Now we're gonna fucking need her.
Oh yeah, now you lose if you don't have her.
Don't worry, my champ can also deal with his champ, I think.
Oh, let's go.
You've only heard the passive version.
Bro,
Only heard the
I'm raging. I'm raging.
Oh, it gets so much better. Let me tell you about the Q. Let me tell you about her Q ability, her main combat ability. It has an
Alright.
11-second cooldown, and it's called Tip of the Spear. Okay, I should have specified it. Her main weapon is like a glaive that she fights with, because I thought that's.
Oh wait, did
not
we?
many
I love
champions have
glaives.
Did we
pretty
mark
fucking
off
sick.
stacking? Is stacking one of the bingos?
that. Infinite
Yeah.
scaling is one, and she does indeed.
Okay, let's take off
Um,
infinite scaling.
So, Tip of the Spear is her Q, in which she thrusts her glaive directly forwards in the direction of the mouse. It's not desperately long, it's probably like 450, 500 units, and it just deals like flat attack damage in the line.
Mm.
If it connects with an enemy champion, she heals a small amount of health. I'm not sure how much, maybe 15% of the damage dealt or something. I don't know.
Wait, we have a Viego incident coming. Release solo lane Viego.
By the way-
at
by the
healing
way-
Q.
I feel like I should tell you, Virgil, that I'm only a third of the way through the description of this ability.
So wait, I suppose paragraph abilities is another one.
Paragraph
Yes.
abilities, you can take that guy right off. If the attack does not hit any enemy champions, she may immediately recast the ability to dash to the end of the glaive. So that's like a 400 unit dash.
So if she misses,
And
she
then-
gets dashes. So she can just queue,
If she misses,
dash.
she gets a dash.
and then it resets
And
because she
may
doesn't.
immediately recast one time, and if after dashing, can immediately recast one time within like a half-second window to make a second lunge with the glaive. However, this one does 20% reduced damage and does not heal her.
Does she get to also go to that one?
No, it does
I
not.
assume not.
No, she can't just do this perma to just like zoom back to
Lol.
lane.
That
No.
would be sus.
The
Alright.
ability can damage structures, just like Fiora, and also resets the attack timer.
Oh.
It's one of 3 abilities that is an auto reset.
I'm sure nothing could go wrong with a bulk build or anything like that.
Oh, absolutely not. Literally no way this could possibly end bad.
Does it apply on hit?
No.
If it does, kill me with a gun.
Auto attacks do, but the ability does.
Okay, thanks. Oh my god, puts down
The
fucking
ability
block.
just does what it does.
Puts down Desert Eagle. I have already.
it's just a standard ability. Nothing really.
So
And
that was the cue.
that was just the Q, okay? Now we move on to the W,
Okay.
which is called Devastating Counter Strike, and it has a 16-second cooldown.
That's devastating in my name.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
It's a very devastating ability. She enters a brief defensive state for. I wrote 0.5 seconds, but the point being, there's like a very short frame window
Like Zonya's.
whereby it's active. Way shorter than Sonya. Way shorter. Like kind of like Fiora level.
Parry.
Like similar time window as Fiora's parry.
Okay.
right?
Which is pretty
Um,
long.
Okay, but it's shorter than that. Like really, you
Yeah,
have
it's
to
like
actually-
1.5 seconds.
Wait, is this my brainchild?
This is based on the counter ability that we discussed. the point
Okay.
It doesn't. It's not like a 1.5 second window. It is like a 0.5 second. Like
Yeah.
you
Okay.
press it when you see the attack coming, not you just throw it out there and hope something.
So it's more
Right.
skilled than Furo Parry.
Yes, of course. Highly skilled champion. This is one of the most actually mechanical parts of this. Otherwise, piss 200 years full tank, right? And basically, if she's hit by the source attack, she immediately becomes untargetable and swipes her glaive in a short 90-degree arc in the direction of the source attack, without taking the damage of the attack that hits her. And the swipe deals damage which is directly proportional to the damage of the source attack or ability. And if it hits an enemy champion, then she temporarily gains 10 stacks of resilience, which is a massive swipe.
I remember this. Don't worry, he
It's,
said temporarily. It's fine.
It's temporary. It's
Oh,
temporary.
okay,
Don't
okay,
worry.
okay, okay.
Although she does still get 1 stack for obviously hitting a champion with an.
She's gonna be Omega Mind Games in lane, like Omega Mind Games.
She's gonna be foul, bro. 10 stacks of temporary resilience. And if multiple attacks or abilities hit her during the 0.5 second like window when the counter frames are active, then it will just always use the highest damage of those attacks or abilities.
Our champs are Loki kind of twinning.
Bro, it
OMG.
sounds like your champion. You could just ignore them because they won't do enough damage, and there's no point trying to kill them because they're so tanky.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. But yeah, the point being that she can basically just eat these attacks and then counter them back, right? Oh, and it's also an auto reset, by the way. Like I should have clarified.
Obviously.
It has to be an auto reset. It has to be. That's the whole W.
I like the
Pretty
W.
reasonable. Pretty reasonable.
I like what you
can
did with
use
the
it in team
idea.
fights to like block attacks and like protect your carries behind you, but also deal back a considerable amount of damage
So-
in like close brawly team fights, holding down the dragon pit, etc.
Do we say that your kit has base built-in lifesteal?
Well, yeah, for the
Yeah, it
Q.
has built-in lifesteal on the kit.
Thank you.
Has built-in lifesteal. That counts. That counts.
And a dash.
And a dash,
Not multiple though.
not multiple dash. Just
Not
one.
yet. Maybe, I don't
There
know.
is only one dash, sadly.
Oh
Wait,
my god.
let me just check.
Do we say resets as well?
Oh,
Breathes,
yeah, it's got so many
breathes,
resets.
breathes a sigh of 80 carry relief after you say only one dash.
Everything has reset. Champion.
Okay, so
Um,
right now you haven't hit bingo, but you're on 5.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Examiner.
I've only done 2 of the abilities. Nice. And the passive, I guess.
Right.
So the E, a 19-second cooldown, an ability called Resolute Guardian, whereby for 5 seconds, she reduces all damage that she takes from attacks, abilities, passives, etc., all sources, by 40%, and gains 10 temporary attack damage and 1 permanent stack of resilience for each unique enemy champion that attacks her during these 5 seconds.
Bro, you literally... Okay, you're just gonna have to ignore her. There's no point trying to kill her. Just end while she's like stood there next to you.
We'll get there, Finn.
She's
This
got like
bonus attack
1,000
damage
armor.
remains for 8 seconds after the enemy champion attacks her, and champion takedowns reset the timer on the bonus attack damage decay.
Oh.
Her R.
Oh.
Mighty R. Her R has a 75-second cooldown, and it's
Bruh.
called Army of One. So she taunts and slows every champion within an 800-unit radius for 2
That's
seconds
not
at
bad.
first level, going up to
Wait,
3
say that again?
seconds
Sorry,
at
start
second
from
level, going up. Okay. She taunts and slows every enemy champion specifically within 800-unit radius, and
What?
for 2 to 4 seconds, scaling based on the abilities level.
4 seconds
every-
of CC.
It's foul.
Bear in mind, Renata R level 1 is less than a second.
This is exactly the point. You
I'm
can't
not
just
supposed to just say yeah to that.
Yes, I am. It's 200 years. Trust me. I have 200 years of game design experience.
Okay.
And every auto attack that they land on her for an 8-second window after she activates the ability reduces the attacker's attack speed by 10%, their max attack speed, up to 3 times until the end of the 8-second period. And for each attack taken, she gains 4 temporary stacks of resilience until the 8-second period ends.
So literally just ignore her.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
This ability also resets the attack timer, so it's and refreshes the cooldown of Resolute Guardian.
Oh my god. Like at a certain point with armor, like there's just no point of having more armor because you're literally just like
Yeah,
people
exactly,
will do 0
exactly.
damage.
So, now that we have heard the ability champion, let me explain to you why that is entirely important. Because you can't just ignore the champion. Because think about it. Think about how much AP Veigar gets, right? By, I don't know, 25 minutes into the game, you know? A reasonable amount of AP, right?
He's a full build AP by the time everyone else is half.
Exactly. But, just from phenomenal evil power, he'll get, what, 250 stacks by then? More or less? Something like that. Think about it. You don't actually need to build tank items on this champion for her to be a full tank.
So no tank items and full tank. Oh, that's another
Yeah, you
one
can take
ticked
that
off.
one right off.
Pickies.
Take that one right off. She can just build attack damage items to make her Q deal plenty of damage.
Bro, at a certain point, she's just gonna become immortal because no one has enough. There's not enough attack damage items in the game to actually do more damage than her armor, and she's just gonna
Finlay.
walk around.
better,
Fucking...
Finlay.
you better hope you built armor penetration.
After you hear this, right? You better not complain about the true damage in my kit, okay, buddy? You better
Well,
not
if
complain
this,
about it.
if Harry's champion exists, then yes,
Yeah.
like.
Because I feel like the way this ends up is me and Harry's champs are just going to like face down late game because they'll be the only things that can touch each other.
Ugh.
She doesn't even deal that much damage compared to like other fighters, and this is the thing. I legitimately think this is a good idea, based on the fact that even though she does technically have an infinitely scaling stat, also for the record, the numbers are obviously all basically placeholders, can be changed for balance sake, but I made them appropriate for 200 for effect.
XD.
But the point is, infinite scaling based on armor, I actually think is a pretty cool idea, because or armor and magic resist, because they can technically scale infinitely, but because of their diminishing returns, they don't just become like Vagar levels of like, if you just leave me alone for like 8 years, I will become unstoppable.
Right. Yeah. My only gripe with it actually, like, the
Yeah.
scaling doesn't bother me at all. The scaling doesn't bother me actually in the slightest. The only thing that bothers me is just like how fucked Taunt is with that radius.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But then again, when you picture like say a Nico R, it's not that huge. Like it is avoidable just about.
But you
But
know
the
how
thing
people
is-
say you can't buff Rel's R because it's so strong. But that's basically like a more strong Rel R because everyone's just walking towards you, so it kind of like sucks them in, just like for
Yeah,
4 seconds.
but nobody plays Rel, so as far as I'm concerned, this is its really unique ability.
Oh
I
god.
don't know. I feel like there's some illness associated with that R, but otherwise a stalwart performance. I can see this champion like existing and being killable, but you have
I
to
think
like
it's a
full
beautiful
itemize against her,
concept. I think it is a beautiful.
and you can't really.
I feel like you've added
ignore
a
her either.
mech. You've added an actual like just mech to the game.
Herb.
Huh?
Like a
Why
huge,
specifically a mech?
because it's a humanoid fucking just insanely tanky just monster walking around.
Yeah, you
just-
added your mom to the game, bro.
Ow.
Bro.
Oh, bro, what? Why?
Over the line,
It
buddy.
had to be
Over the
done, man. It
line.
had to be done.
Objectively foul.
Oh,
Day after her
God.
birthday and everything. That's fucked up.
Okay.
Oh well. Anyway, that is my 200 years champion.
Well done, bro.
All of her abilities are ridiculously long, and she infinitely scales, and she's a top lane split pusher.
Did we get
so
bingo on that, by the way?
I
No,
honestly
we
think
didn't.
Ryan should just hire me.
Alright, I'm going for the bingo.
Wait, is it a shirtless man?
It's not a shirtless man.
Ah.
Worth asking, I guess, maybe.
We almost got bingo. If they had
You never
invis,
know.
we had bingo.
Not a shirtless man.
If she had invis, she would have been bingo.
Oh,
Fuck.
Yeah. Smoge.
anyway.
Alright.
Just
Are we, are we...
We all
Everyone's
took
silent
in-
after that one.
we all had
Everyone's
to
been
take in
low.
Harry's show.
I hope
I'm
Sofian
fucking
is feeling okay,
recoil
because
from
he's
my
had some...
most beautiful creation.
I hope Soph is okay, because he's had, like, lots of cancer. He's about to hit even more cancer, and then it's his turn.
But then mine's just not cancer in any way. I didn't know we had to go for these
No, it wasn't.
fucked up.
No,
I didn't
mine's.
decide if mine's cancer or
I don't
not.
think mine's
it's
cancer. I don't think
It's
mine's
not,
I
it's,
cancer.
like
it's not
yours.
too
I
bad.
legit think you can say what you like. I legit think that if you tune the numbers a little bit around the alt,
Yeah.
I legitimately think my champion is fine.
Oh.
Alright.
I thought you were on about Finns.
I just hate
think,
scaling champs.
I think, my,
Yeah,
my,
I know, Finn. I know.
Uh-oh.
I might have a harder time with the controversy scale because it's a damage champion. We all know how wrong things can go with damage champions.
Oh boy.
Anyway, it's time to introduce Mercury, a new AD carry champion, played in the bot lane. So he's got a little backstory to him. I'll just read out the paragraph. So Mercury, a well-traveled mercenary and outlaw, unsuited to the strict laws of his birthplace of Piltover, Mercury now resides in the upper decks of Bilgewater, where he deals dirty and pays a pretty penny to his criminal underlings. Once an employer of Graves and Twisted Fate in their earlier days, they now see him as their greatest rival, while he only sees them as a thorn in his side. Mercury is a sharpshooting gunslinger and skilled alchemist who flows through the battlefield like a liquid and hits like an anvil. What do we think of that intro?
That sounds pretty. That
Wow.
sounds like something Riot would actually like come out with as their next champ.
Well, I had like a whole walk home to think about that backstory, which is where that came from.
Well,
It
in
is
the
a very
in the
complete
skin
backstory.
spotlights or the champ spotlights, they have
Yeah.
those brief backstory things. That sounds like I've just listened to like a champion spotlight.
That's what having X amount of levels in League of Legends will do to you. Alright, who's ready for the passive?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Bring it on.
Alright, the passive is called Liquid Metal, and it has two main components. So first we've got
Multi-part
Quick.
passive, cross it off.
Yep. We got two parts. We got Quick and Silver. So Quick, Mercury does not auto-attack as normal. Instead, he uses a revolver, which he must reload after firing. While standing still, Mercury will reload 2 rounds every 0.5 seconds. Otherwise, he will only reload 1 round every 0.5 seconds. And also to clarify, Mercury cannot reload while firing. But that can be changed, and I'll get to why later. So, after spending 5 seconds out of combat, Mercury will reload all ammunition so long as he does not attack. So it's a bit like Jin. As long as you're out of combat for a while and you don't auto anything, you get the free full reload. But otherwise, he does have some mechanics in his reloading, like mid combat,
How many
on a
bullets has he
0.5
got?
seconds. So he has 6 in his revolver,
Yeah.
and if he
Why
stands
did you have to
still,
clarify revolt?
if he stands still, he gets 2 rounds every 0.5 seconds. But if he doesn't stand still, then he gets only 1 round.
Okay.
So you have to basically trade off with your position. This champion is
Yeah.
all positioning mechanics. So, Silver. Whenever Mercury has full ammo in either of his guns, he gains a stack, max 6, causing his next attack to have plus 10% crit chance and deal 3% max health physical damage, scaling with crit chance. At every 10% crit chance above 80%, these attacks will deal an additional 3% max health true damage instead. So there's the
Damn.
first bit of true.
You actually know how to do your like balancing and your percentages. Well, I'm not sure balance, but you know how to do your percentages. I was just
Yeah,
fucking.
We'll get to balancing. We'll
So
get to
the reason
balance.
I chose 80% specifically as like the start of the true is because I wanted it to be the case of you have to decide between whether you want to go for that dangerous 5th crit item or you want to go for a more safe defensive item and then lock the true damage behind your stacks.
Oh, I see. That's pretty cool, actually.
So you can full send it, build a Kraken Slayer, build full crit, and then you'll be dishing out a lot of like unignorable damage,
Yeah.
but you'll be really squishy.
Yeah.
So I'll take
That's why the
feedback and
position.
move on to Q.
I'm guessing that's why the positioning is like. Oh, that was the passive.
That's his passive, Quick and Silver.
Oh my
That
god.
was all the passive.
Yeah.
Again,
That's how his gun
I'm
works.
gonna note that one down as paragraph abilities as well, if that's cool.
Yeah,
with you
yeah, yeah.
guys.
All of them are paragraph abilities, man, except his E is. Alright, we ready for the Q?
Wait.
And percent health damage.
And my secret theory
Yeah,
is that the
percent health
reason Zach
damage.
is not here today is because I named it Sand Swipe and not Pocket Sand.
Okay.
I genuinely think that's what happened. But anyway, Mercury swirls his cloak, conically scattering sand into his opponent's eyes, near-sighting them for 1 second, or until they leave Mercury's range. And then comes the recast. Fan the hammer, recast. Mercury fans the hammer on his revolver, emptying his ammo into opponents within range. Attacks caused by this ability are evenly spread between targets, and this attack deals 100% AD physical damage and scales with attack speed.
Is this just that guy from Overwatch?
Yes.
McCree. Yeah.
No, this ability is very McCree.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to ask though.
Yeah.
Does it include minions in its targeting?
I was considering whether or not it should be, and I ultimately didn't decide yet. I feel like that's something you'd have to play it and like figure out if like the The solo damage is too bad.
Yeah.
But since he's played bot, it would usually be spread between 2 targets anyway.
Yeah.
Assuming the sand swiper range is pretty big. So attacks from this ability cannot critically strike, but does apply on hit effects. So that's
Oh,
the
boy.
caveat, which is again really like McCree if you think about it, because you've got to make that choice between headshotting or fanning the hammer. And when you
Yeah.
fan the hammer, you can't headshot.
Yeah.
Similar kind of thing. You got to make that trade off when you decide to fan the hammer. This ability will
Okay,
stop
but it
if there
does
are
apply
no.
on hit.
It does apply on hit.
Okay.
So you can do 1, 2, 3, and then the true from Kraken. That definitely can happen. Wits end damage.
A Boxident.
Yeah, but then again, if you're building things like wits, you don't get crit, so you lose out on that extra true at the end. It's
Yeah.
all decisions.
Very true. Very true.
So it's
So-
very situational, dependent on build and dependent on positioning.
Yeah, the champion's gameplay will like fully change based on what you're going up against and what you think the best build is.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
So this ability will stop if there are no enemies in range, and upon stopping, will grant Mercury 1 stack of silver per unique enemy hit. Do you want a refresher on what silver does again?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
remember?
Give me
So let me just read silver to you again. Whenever Mercury has full ammo in either of his guns, he gains a stack max 6, causing his next attack to have plus 10% crit and deal 3% max health physical damage.
Okay, alright, so discuss
That's base level silver without the true, which is when he goes above 80.
Yeah. But when he gets to 10 plus 10%, can he get true damage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't gain plus 10 per silver stack. It's just the next attack has plus 10.
Okay.
And every attack expends 1 stack of silver.
Okay.
That was probably the hardest part about designing this guy, is determining where he gets silver from, because it's a very powerful but also very necessary resource to his gameplay.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically for everyone he hits inside the fan the hammer, that's a unique enemy, which is another reason to consider, do you want it to be on minions as well? I might make it OP. He gets a stack of silver for each unique target.
Yeah.
So here's a caveat that leads you into your W, which is Mercury requires both hands to fan the hammer, and thus cannot cast Sandswipe while Smokem is active. Enemies with their backs turned to Mercury are not nearsighted by Sandswipe, like Casio Ultimate, and take a maximum of 1 shot from the recast. However, enemies caught will have any active channels interrupted.
Okay.
So you can kind of cast it in Q you if he catches you channeling and he has Sandswipe up.
Yeah. And
But
then look
if
in
you
your
turn away,
direction.
you're all good.
Yeah.
So, W Smokem. The start of this sounds very 200 years.
So wait, that was just one ability that last one you spent like 10 minutes on.
It has a recast, so it's basically like 2.
Can we have like essay abilities? Is that like a
Paragraph abilities, that's already in.
Can we like up it to essay abilities?
The worst part is
I love
like
how-
what actually happens from like the ability is very simple. It just takes a lot of explaining.
I love how we had to have like a refresher as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, obviously.
The first ability. Okay, alright, keep going.
It's because it all ties in. It all synergy.
Yeah.
So W Smokem. Mercury draws his second gun, doubling his available ammo pool for 5 seconds and granting him 50% move speed, decaying over 2 seconds. While the second gun is drawn, fire alternates between each gun until one is expended. Upon expending the ammo of either gun, Mercury gains the same move speed bonus. Mercury reloads and resets the 5-second timer upon killing an enemy during this time. He additionally gains a stack of silver upon kill participation.
So resets.
So I want to clarify, he has to kill, he has to be the one to kill in order to reset the reload to get a full mag
Yeah,
again.
not kill participation,
But the KP, any KP during it, gives him a stack of silver.
which gives him. Oh.
Back and forth we go.
So resets. Let's take that off.
Yeah. If Mercury has less than 3 attack speed during this ability, he gains 0.8 attack speed for the duration up to a maximum of 3, not counting resets. So the reason I chose 3 is I wanted him to be able to go a bit above the normal limit, because the whole point of him is to be flashy and quick, but I didn't want it to go like above 3, because above 3 is just this.
Yeah.
And so the above 3 and the extra attack speed cannot benefit from the reset.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So I'm considering as well, 0.8 is a fucking lot of attack speed. So that could conceivably be nerfed.
Yeah.
That could be hotfixed on release.
We're not the balanced team.
We're not the
I was going to
balanced
say,
team.
as with all of our champions, some of the numbers have been, especially mine, some of the numbers have been.
Yeah, the 0.8 basically is just how I headcanon see the champion like playing out on screen.
Yeah.
Like I really want when he presses W and his second gun comes out to really see some fucking bang 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 going on,
Yeah.
and not some slow ass Jin shit. You know,
Yeah.
I do love Jin though. All right, we finally made it to his E, boys.
Boy.
E, Alchemist Step. Mercury assumes a liquid state and dashes, briefly becoming unstoppable for 1 second and taking 50% reduced damage for 1.5 seconds.
Talk
Any
that down as
abilities?
mobile ADC.
Yep. Any abilities targeting Mercury during this time grant him 1 stack of silver. So he basically fucking blobs himself a little bit like Vlad. But
I
just
will
1 second.
I will consider this as invisibility.
No, that's
Oh,
not
it's just, it's not even untargetable. You can still fully shoot him and everything.
But
It's just while he's in his liquid state, he takes basically half damage, and every unique ability that hits him gives him a stack of silver.
okay, so I will consider that. Hmm.
You just want to consider, bro.
I
There's a
want to
lot
consider. I'm just
there's a
really
lot to consider
considering.
with this champion. That's the shortest ability he has, by the way. That's only 3 lines, or
Okay.
2.5 lines.
By the way, I feel like we should have given the the smoker mobility. We should have also I don't know if we did, but we should have checked off ignoring base game mechanics for that, for removing the 2.5 attack speed limit.
Yeah, fuck that thing. I hate it.
Oh yeah.
So write that one down as well, please.
Yeah.
As
I'll
broken as
remember.
ADC is, it gets cucked in so many ways, man. It's like, I will simply build more attack. No, you won't. Oh, sorry, Riot. My
So
bad.
I'm just realizing that. So you can go over the attack speed limit.
Lots of things can. Lethal tempo can.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
Battle Breath
like,
can. Yeah,
but I
all
mean,
those
like, yeah.
things.
You're an ADC that can have without lethal tempo go over attack speed limit.
Yeah, you know, cannon can as well. It's funny.
Okay, all right, continue.
All right, finally we've made it to his R, which is Metal Dawn. This is probably the most broken thing with the most overtuned numbers, but they're just numbers, so don't worry.
Yeah.
So, Mercury channels for 0.5 seconds. Brackets are 2 times longer than Jin's R channel. Gaining true sight of currently visible enemies, and reloads his revolver while gaining 200% attack range. Smoker may be used during this ability. During the ability's cast time, Mercury attacks in a small area directly under the player's cursor, expending 1 ammunition per attack. These attacks each benefit doubly from silver, but deal 50% of their damage as true damage instead of striking critically. Moving cancels this ability. So, you get a trade-off for this one. It gets twice the benefit of silver, but it can't crit.
Yeah.
And it does 50%
Interesting.
true.
I like how you kind of balance that.
I like that.
But I
like
still,
that.
when you like first read it off, I'm just like,
Gains 200% attack range and true sight. It's basically like it's very similar to Jin ult, but the fucking
yeah.
without any breaks, you can just fucking gun people down. Which is why I was considering. I want to know what you guys think.
Does terrain block it? Sorry.
No,
So it's like McCreel, but just like
but
no.
terrain blocks McCree ult.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
McCree
McCreel,
ult
but
is
nothing blocks it.
Also, McCree ult is aimbot also.
But this isn't aimbot. This is
No, this is basically hit scan. So
Yeah.
where you click, the shot goes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go past your cursor; it goes under your cursor.
Oh, okay.
So you need to be
actually
dead
get
on with your aim.
yeah,
you need to
yeah.
be dead on with your aim, which is why I was thinking
I think that's
that
pretty
maybe there
balanced.
should be a small delay before the shot hits to give enemies a chance to juke. So it's not entirely the caster's skill, but it's a bit of the enemy's skill as well, whether they can dodge it.
I think that's pretty
I
balanced
think
considering
clicking
that
on time
most
is fine already.
Yeah, I
Yeah?
think most
I
league
don't think that needs to be a delay.
champions or league
All right.
players aren't skilled.
I'm down. I'm down to leave it like that.
I think most
It's-
leagues champion no
It's
league
a showstopper for sure. This ability.
Yeah, but league players
It would have
aren't
a long
high
cooldown.
mechanical players, so that's like balanced enough. Most people
And
miss it.
this ability, because everything else I've described of him has been like consistent DPS within base ADC range, and it doesn't go over base ADC range ever really in this kit.
Yeah.
But the only thing he has that slightly augments his like combat range is the dash, but it's still risky to use. Whereas this is a showstopper. This is where he basically triples his range, and he can click on you, and you're gonna take damage whether you're a tank, whether you're a squishy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's
But
pretty good.
I think it would be locked behind a really big cooldown as well,
I like that champ.
and it would be really high mechanic as well. This whole champ was designed to be acing in mechanics.
Yeah, I quite
There
like
you
that.
go.
I feel like that's an
That's,
actual like champion.
I reckon I'd honestly play something like that.
What hurts the most about designing this guy is I want to play him so bad now, but I'm not a game dev.
Just
I-
go to Riot and pitch the idea, and then they'll hire you.
Actually submit an email being like champion concept.
Yo, add this champion, and then if they
Do it
don't,
right.
if they don't
Do
give
it
you
perfect.
compensation, you just sue them. Boom.
Another quick question before we move to subs. Do you think this character would be better suited as a goofball or a badass?
About
Nah,
Badass.
goofball. I think goofball.
badass. Why goofball? Nothing in his kid's goofy.
I mean, considering his backstory, he lives on the upper, like the bougie end of Bilgewater at the top, with MF and like the GPs of the fucking Bilgewater.
Yeah, why would he be goofy?
I feel like badass probably.
Yeah.
Every goofy champion in League of Legends to date has annoyed me, so I'm gonna say badass.
Hey, we're gonna make him a
Exactly, okay.
badass fucking.
Yeah, shut up,
liquid
Sufjan.
gunslinger.
What the fuck?
Also, that means we can cross Edge off from the list, I think.
Oh, let's go.
Oh yeah, true.
My final comment on this guy will be the thing I mentioned earlier was the animation cancel. Because as you guys have probably clocked by now, with all the reloading and the canceling and the not standing still and all this shit, the channels, this guy will have like insane amount of animations per second, which is why his aesthetic is designed as like liquid metal and Quicksilver. So that instead of animating each individual thing, you can just replace it with like a short like flash of Quicksilver or metal on the screen, and then he basically teleports from stance to stance
Yeah.
with the liquid metal as a transition medium, which
Neat.
saves the animator a lot of time and makes him look cool at the same time.
That's one off getting a bingo again. Mobile ADC,
Aw.
multi-part passives edge, but we need no tank items, full tank. Gah. So
Rest in
close.
peace.
Maybe
All
we're
right, you
just
ready?
not
ready,
200 years.
Uh-oh. Okay. So my jungler, I don't know how I'm gonna pronounce the name. It's either Miz or Miss. M-I-S.
Miskiff?
Not Mizkiff, no.
Oh.
M-I-S.
Oh, okay.
That's why I think
Miss.
Miz might not be the good idea. Either Miz or Miss, because it's M-I-S.
Just half of misfortune.
What? It's M-I-S.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, miss.
Okay. I guess it's a woman now.
Surprise.
So, my backstory is very short. A forsaken soul brought back to life during a ritual, Miz is a being stuck somewhere between the realm of the living and the realm of the dead.
Okay.
That's Yon.
So,
That's Yon's backstory.
oh
ish,
shit.
Ish.
Okay.
He was
Isn't-
provided with the ritual, but Yon is stuck between living and dead.
Isn't that like the spirit realm?
Kinda. Well, he
Like
walks the
kindred
mortal
and
plane,
stuff.
but his soul is still bound to the spirit realm.
Yeah.
Okay, Graves and Mach
Oh,
2.
so maybe there's some connection with Yon then
Maybe
backstory flows. Oh shit.
Holy shit.
Oh.
Buggers.
And yeah, because he's between the realm of the living and the realm of the dead, he's still got connections to like souls, dead souls and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Auto attacks at level 1, 55 true damage. Is
Oh.
that broken?
True damage.
His
That's
ultimate
fine.
attacks do true damage. 55 true damage.
Yes.
So,
But bear in mind that without, like, if you
I like it.
counting armor, you're doing 50 per auto anyway, so you basically doubled his damage in history.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so immediately broken. Immediately bingo. No.
No, I think it's fine. I'm on board.
But you
55
What if
damage.
we
think it's
what if we
fine.
Gwen it? What if we Gwen it and give him like a couple % true on his autos? The scales with level.
I think 55 is fine. I don't know what you guys do.
55 flat true damage. You know the base armors
Does,
like
does
mo-
that true damage increase? Or is it always 55 and the rest of his attack damage
By
becomes
5
your
per
attack
level.
damage?
But it doesn't increase with it doesn't increase like with
The stat.
items, it doesn't increase based on what the item says. 0.1 per each extra attack damage
So
the
towards the
item
end of the
gives.
game, he'll be doing 145 true damage on his autos.
I think this is fine as long as he like
Yes.
starts a bit weaker than.
I was gonna
50.
say, think about that. 145 true damage per autofin. Now think about how much damage the fucking rat does, or how much damage Zeri does.
No, but this is like
And this guy's melee, I assume, or is he not?
That's
He's
his-
got a slight range,
no, but
but
Harry,
not for his not for his autos.
that's his base. Yeah, that's his base
So, yeah,
auto attack
melee.
damage. Is all of it? So if he adds an AD item on top of that, the base is 145 true damage at level 18, plus all the additional AD. This isn't obviously true damage, but he's having that base of 145 true damage. Not most people don't have base 145 damage at fucking level 18, and for it to be base 145 true damage at level 18,
Wait,
and
oh,
on top of
I guess this all depends what the rest of the champion is like.
yeah,
But
true,
I would
true.
definitely say he should start his true like level 1 should start a bit weak.
Nerf them numbers, yeah.
okay. Fair
We've not been pressing the numbers. So
No,
far.
okay.
enough.
But
Anyways,
anyone,
we get the idea.
Anyone-
He does
Should
he
I
does
start?
most of his auto true damage. As,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Auto damage as true damage.
I'd
My-
put my passive at the end, but should I start with it because that's what you've got?
Yeah,
done.
start with
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
passives are like the premise
So-
of a champ.
This might be broken again. Numbers could be tweaked. Every fourth attack, Miz does extra damage with the help of one of his souls, with a chance to deal 25 bonus physical, magic, or true damage. The hit chance
like
is equal to crit chance, so it's basically a crit. And which
So his crit adds like it has a chance of adding on hit of like any of the damage types.
yeah.
I like that.
Really
That's cool.
On hit.
swanky.
And
And
then
that's
the-
the passive. Right.
And he also sweeps his scythe, so the way that Diana cleaves her blade, so it hits multiple targets
That's
I
pretty
like
in a
that.
small
I like
radius. Okay.
That's cool. I'm a fan.
I guess I can talk about the stacks. Every kill,
Oh boy, stacks.
every kill grants Miz 1 stack. Each stack adds 10 damage.
Kills to only champions, yeah? Not like epic
Yeah,
monsters.
yeah. So takedowns basically.
But not jungle monsters.
Not jungle monsters. No.
Does
Each
it do it
stack.
for epic jungle monsters?
No.
Like dragons.
No. No. Because of the next part. Each stack. Each stack has 10 damage plus 0.1 for every additional damage point from items. So basically, whatever the item gives divided by 10. Across all abilities, up to 5 stacks.
No, what the fuck?
Up to 5. Thank God he said up to 5.
The 5.
I
So he
think it
can
should
have
be
like.
infinitely scaling.
So, think about he's building full AD. I'm assuming he's gonna build full AD. And that damage. How many items do you reckon at the end? Like, how much AD you'll get from items?
I don't
Let's go
know.
with
I
300.
didn't.
Well, if it's 10%
I didn't think about
and he
this.
builds,
So it's
if it's
30.
10% and he's building attack speed or like crit items, he'll end up with like 300 AD.
So that's like
bonus.
30.
So he gets an extra 30 on all his abilities.
But that's also with 50 on top of that because he's got 5 stacks. So
Yeah.
I think
so
that's
he's
fine.
got an additional 80. So like a
Whoa.
whole other item. Plus the numbers need nothing, but I quite like it.
An
the
additional
concept is really cool.
80 damage per attack. Finn, need I remind you, Veigar exists.
Keeping in mind he's going to be
Need I remind you?
fairly squishy compared, fairly squishy.
Veigar fucking exists. By the way.
Okay, the rest of the stacks. Upon death, Miz loses 3 stacks, but can regain them by getting a takedown within 1 minute of coming back.
Oh, that's so
Say-
balanced. Okay, nice.
So say he's behind and enemies are in the spawn. If he comes back and gets a kill, he gets 3 stacks back up to 5 stacks. Okay.
Nice.
Wait, say that again? Sorry.
So say you're behind as a team, right?
Yeah.
And say the enemy's pushed up to your Nexus tower
Okay.
or some shit like that. You die. When you come back, you have a minute to get 1 takedown. On that takedown, your lost stacks are returned, so you go back up to whatever you were.
And you
When
can
you
do
died.
that. Okay, so
From behind.
Yeah. So again, it does
works
go up
like
to 5
objectives, does it? Like objective bounties, like it'll know when you're behind.
It should just have an
Uh,
indicator. or
no,
something,
it's
yeah.
just-
I don't
in
think he's
general.
saying. It's just an example of like if the enemy is in your base, i.e., you are
Yeah.
losing the game. it will be easier for you to get a kill within 1 minute than if you're in their base.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
the condition is within 1 minute of respawning, you get a kill. So
Okay.
obviously, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
early
Which
game, it's
is
not
easier
easy.
when
Yeah,
behind.
yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
can see a lot of fucking inters playing this champ and being like, I've got a minute.
Yeah.
I've got-
I've got
Just
a
run,
Let's go, let's go.
jumping in 1v5.
Okay, so his weapon is a scythe, by the way, but he has
Mhm.
2 weapons that he switches between. We'll get to that later.
Oh boy.
So they don't do different damage or anything, but the attack range changes slightly. Well, not
Okay.
attack range. Okay, anyway. So Q is called Deathly Grab. I might have fucked up the order of abilities, as in like.
That's all good.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Miz throws out his scythe. Upon landing this ability, I haven't decided the range of this yet. He teleports to the enemy champion or monster, stunning them for I don't know how many seconds, and
7.
dealing. Okay, that's a bit fucked, but okay.
Long ass.
And
7 second
dealing
point and click CC.
and dealing 200 damage.
Okay.
Is that-
Yeah, I would say just don't throw out flat numbers. Throw
Okay.
out like ratios. If
I
you're
don't,
gonna
I
throw
don't
them
know
out,
ratios, my guy.
but just say like in that case, just say like it does damage
I was gonna say
scaling with.
that's what
a
I
thing.
just did was just like attack damage or magic damage.
If you don't
Just
know
pick one.
ratio, just say what it would be.
Just say ratio after everyone.
Ratio.
Ratio plus you fell off.
Gets your champ criticized at all. Fucking ratio.
Okay. The W is utility. Otherworldly assistance. The next 3 attacks Miz lands give him healing equal to damage dealt.
Nice.
So when he activates it, he has souls circling him, so you know he has it active.
Okay, so he's got like 3 charges around him.
Yeah, and then each charge disappears as he gets a hit, which gives him healing. The duration of the ability is 6 seconds.
And
After
wait,
that,
what
the-
ability is this?
Is W.
Oh, okay. So it's like
It's
built in
looking like
less still.
Hecarim AoE heal.
Yeah.
Where it basically heals
ki-
him with 10% of all the damage he does within that AoE.
Yeah.
But this is like more powerful, I say, because like didn't you say it's 1-to-1 the healing you get?
Yeah.
There's 3.
Mhm.
Again, very cool idea. Just be fucking careful.
The cooldown might need to be either I reduce the healing taken or the cooldown is kind of
Yeah.
insane. Either
Mhm.
or.
Again, concept we get the concept. Again, as with literally all of our champions, the numbers are placeholders.
Yeah.
Okay. The E, blood sacrifice. Numbers again fucked up, but this is where the 2 weapons come in a way. So Miz places down his scythe on his like where he is, and I don't know what the radius is either, but there is a certain radius around the scythe. Upon recasting, Miz returns to his scythe at the cost of 150 HP. I think it will scale with the like HP you gain and
With
shit throughout
ratio.
the match. Yeah, ratios.
There you go. You're fucking gaming now.
It stops at 1 HP, so this ability can't kill you, but it will bring you down to 1 HP.
So you're
Okay.
playing reverse Yen.
Yeah, kind of.
Pretty fucking.
And then so when he has the scythe down, he uses his fists instead of a scythe, obviously.
Yeah.
So his passive no longer works while he's using the E.
Okay.
What's the
Because
benefit of this for you?
Hmm?
Because right now it sounds like you just drop your fucking weapon and then nerf your damage.
you get the fuck out of there. It's like a
Oh, so you drop an anchor, or you can.
yeah, it's like a beacon. Yeah,
But you don't have to recast it.
you don't have to. You could go back and pick up the beacon. The scythe.
So it gives you a dash out of it, or like.
It gives you a teleport to the scythe when you recast it.
Oh, I see.
So basically, he drops it down like an anchor, and then he has like a certain range around that you can go,
Yeah.
and then you can
You ever
beat the
played
sharp
as
evil in this
Yon,
case.
Finley?
I
Is
would
there a
say-
range to it? Because you
you
could
know
just drop
how-
it in
okay,
Nexus.
Let me just say something. Well, yeah, there's a radius. You just.
Oh,
But
okay.
what I would say is, are you aware of how fucking OP Unity is?
It kinda, but I don't know exactly how it works.
It instead of hurting Yon for using it, it fucking hurts the enemies. So he deals up to 35% true or like of the damage he does as true damage when he returns,
Like recast.
and he can return whenever he wants.
I see.
Which is why yours sounds a bit weak right now,
Hmm.
because you basically hinder yourself in order to get an anchor back, The
Yeah.
one counter to this would be like obviously you don't have to take my ideas because it's your champ, but is say maybe whilst this is active, you cannot be reduced below 1 HP, so you always end up going back to the anchor if you get reduced to 1 HP.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's good. I like
So
that.
you have
And-
like insurance policy, which is better than Ewan's because Ewan can be killed while he's using it.
As an added bonus, I think
Yeah.
if you return to the anchor without taking damage or like being in battle in a fight, you don't take damage. You just go back to the anchor.
Right. Yeah.
That might be
That's fair.
because it's within a certain range.
Yeah.
Now we
Like
move to the big ass range.
Uh-oh.
The big ass range ultimate, demonic light. Miz
Eldritch
calls
Blast.
upon. No, not damage based. Might surprise you.
What?
Miz calls upon his 3 stored souls, sending them out with a range of up to 1500 to 2000. Scales with stacked. Any enemy champion within this radius is marked for 3 seconds, and that's it. I was
What does the
thinking of
mark
adding
do?
damage
Just
to it, like as in visible on the map.
He
oh.
presses R, his shit goes out, and then like true sights all the enemies in the radius.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's no. You need to like do more to that ult because that's like
I
a
had an
weak
idea
TF
for
ult.
adding damage, where so that the ultimate lasts a certain amount of time, and he can recast within that amount of time. Any of the 3 champions, enemy champions he's marked with it, will have a mark above their head, obviously.
Well, I'll give you comparison, but TF is literally like global true sight and a teleport. Yours is
I
like
have a sick idea for it though. Ready?
ranged
I
true
also have a
sight.
sick idea. I also have a sick idea.
Me
Okay.
first or you first?
Go first, Virgil.
So my idea for your ult, right? You cast it. It sends out the scouting, gives true sight, and then it makes a circle around all of the enemies that it spotted, or 3 enemies that it spotted, because you got 3 souls.
Yeah.
And the first one to leave the radius, the first one to pussy out of the radius, which slowly closes towards you, the first one to pussy out gets victimized by all 3 souls. So what they
That's
have to
actually
do
pretty
is they
sick.
have to come towards the center of the circle and fight
Yeah.
you as it slowly closes, like fucking like battle royale.
Hmm.
Or the one that pussies out first just has to tank a shit ton from like the 3 souls, just
Yeah, so
victimizing them.
you'd have to be really
That's
tactical about how
way
you use
cooler
it.
than what I was gonna say. That's way
Especially
cooler
because
than what I was gonna say.
the true sight runs out after 3 seconds,
Yeah.
so you don't know when they're going
I
to
was-
approach.
I was just gonna say make each soul apply like on hit effects.
That's what I was. That's what I was kind of thinking. I was thinking that the marked enemy champs, they have there's a certain amount of time the ult lasts, and when you recast it, they have like half a second to react. The mark will change.
And
So they
then
know
you
they're about
rename
to
the
be hit.
ability. Let's play a game.
Now you've renamed the ult Fortnite Battle
Deal with the
Royale.
devil.
The other
Why not
That's
Fortnite
kinda-
Battle Royale?
No, not for.
PUBG.
Says
Where
Fortnite
are
Battle
you?
Royale,
Trade-
the
Fortnite
one
Battle
that's,
Royale trademark in fucking. It just has the Fortnite logo as the ability.
Alright, and play goes up to fucking Epic Games. And you have your like license.
You know how we gave you
Name.
like Jinx?
For this one ultimate, can we buy your license, please?
Oh,
that
no.
was a good episode though. And a good character
Yeah,
by
I think
yourself.
all of the characters were at least like very interesting.
Yeah.
They could all be plausible with changes to.
I'm legit
ratios
so
and
sad I can't play
Yeah.
mine.
numbers.
I'm actually so fucking sad I can't play mine.
Bro,
Go to
I would
Riot,
have so
like,
much fun
legitimately.
playing my champion top lane.
I just want to
Imagine how
gun
sick that
people
would be if we
down.
all create our own champs and just get to play them as a 5-stack.
Yeah, that'd be
Bro,
sick.
that's so beautiful.
Alright,
Wanna
so
see people
I'm gonna
die.
close out the episode because it's like an hour and a half long.
It
Is
was a
it?
banger though.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a hate comment.
As
Oh,
always, leave a hate
okay.
comment.
leave a
And
hate
we'll
comment.
fucking do it again. We'll fucking do it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
Is this,
we'll do it again.
Is this a ritual for the ending of a podcast?
Yeah, yeah. Always
That's
leave a hate
fine.
comment.
Leave a
And
fucking
then,
hate comment, I guess.
Like and subscribe, and hope to see you guys again next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.